Florida obviously has changed dramatically from when I was a kid, but what drew my family here is what's drawing families here today, which is the outdoor life, the sunshine, the water, the boating. So I've got 3 children. I want them to be able to enjoy this. I want their children to be able to enjoy this. And I just feel like there's been maybe a slight period where we took, quite frankly, the environment for granted.
Sure.
And we just assumed that it was going to keep up with everything we were throwing. And so this is our opportunity to give back and, in some small way, help clean up some of our footprint.
This is the Connected by Water podcast, fueled by Papa's Pilar Rum, to remind us never to be a spectator. And protected by Starbright, where it's always Starbright season. Special thanks to our sponsors, Seaward Systems, Olakai, PartsVU, and Lingchini for their great support of our show. This special edition travel episode was recorded on location with our legendary guest.
All right, we're sitting here with John Boyle from PartsVU. Thank you very much for sitting down with me.
Pleasure.
So,
Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, we were just talking with Dr. Todd and with Bobby Lane about how it's really cool that, guys like you and companies like PartsVU that are involved in the SeaSafe collective, how it's not just talk, it's also you're here. It's taking action, it's being involved, and it's putting meaning and purpose behind the work. So you talk to me a little bit about your point of view on that.
Dennis, I've grown up here in the west coast of Florida. Been there for going on nearly almost 50 years.
Okay.
And so Florida obviously has changed dramatically from when I was a kid, but what drew my family here is what's drawing families here today, which is the outdoor life, the sunshine, the water, the boating. So I've got 3 children. I want them to be able to enjoy this. I want their children to be able to enjoy this. And I just feel like there's been maybe a slight period where we took, quite frankly, the environment for granted.
Sure.
And we just assumed that it was going to keep up with everything we were throwing. And so this is our opportunity to give back and, in some small way, help clean up some of our footprint.
I love it. I love it. We talk a lot about, especially on the show here, but also in the event about, it's nice to just talk about it. It's really cool to see it in action, and it's also even better to be involved.
Right.
PartsVU, we welcome you guys to the show as a new sponsor, and part of the reason why we welcome you guys with open arms is because you guys do have a commitment to the ecological effect and the things that we do as an industry.
And I would love to tell you that it's purely, for the environment, but the reality is there's a business piece to this as well, right?
Sure.
If we don't keep these waters pristine and beautiful and keep the fish there, keep the grasses there, well, no one's going to go boating. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't give us anything to fix.
Right.
So there is a symbiotic relationship.
No fish to paint.
Yeah, you got no fish to paint, right? So, within our company, we talk to the team all the time about building memories and having fun. Mm-hmm. And so if we can help, a dad and a son go fishing, a young lady learn how to water ski, one of our working watermen to, get another charter on the books, that's what, our business is all about, trying to get parts and maintenance equipment out to people as quickly as possible. But again, if we're not taking care of the environment, if we're not participating in things like Project SeaSafe,
right,
then what's it all about, right?
100%. So why are we here? What are we doing? Exactly.
I mean, you've had Connected by Water for how long now?
Well, Connected by Water itself's been around for about 5 years. And we're continuing to do the work, and we're trying our best, to whether it's a podcast or whether it's creating new artwork and being involved in events to give meaning to it all, about the foundation that we're trying to lay. Obviously, for ourselves and for our future, for our kids, but just the health and the beauty of Florida in general. It's about save Florida.
And look who's here. I mean, I think you were talking earlier with I think you talked to Blair Wiggins. You had Bobby Lane on.
Yeah.
We've
kicked it off with Corey.
Yeah, we've got titans of the industry here. We have Starbright's here. with not only just their money sponsoring the event, they've got their people volunteering, right? So it's, you've got leaders in the industry, leaders in the fishing industry, all coming together, going, wait a second, we got to protect this. We've got to make sure that we do our part to, again, just leave it better than we found it.
That's really interesting you bring that up, because in Starbright there is a culture to this.
Oh, 100%.
It is in the DNA of every single person that works for this company, that their mindset is basically just like everything that's going on in this event. We always say too in our studio that there's no clear line between when I'm working and when I'm not working, because the art is just part of our lives, and fishing is just part of our lives, and all that it meshes into one thing, and so it's always hard to understand for me when I'm on the clock and when I'm not on the clock, right? So it's a gray area, and the Starbright staff are the same way, because it's their ethos, it's in their DNA, it's just how they live their lives.
We get to work in the greatest industry in the world, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
I mean, where else, to your point, can you justify fishing as work, right? And so, we get to play with really cool boats and boat parts, and again, it's just, it's a very fun industry. It's the ability to interact with people at a very personal level.
Yeah.
And that's, again, you look at, if you could see everybody here, right? These are all personal relationships that have been developed over years and years and years, and people they're watching everybody put the mangroves together before. Everybody had their hands in it. Everyone's dirty, everyone's having a good time, and it's all for the understanding of, hey, we got to take care of this environment.
We certainly do. It was so cool. I was fishing yesterday with a very good friend of mine, Adrian Gray from the IGFA.
Okay.
And he's also an artist. He's also creative. And he asked me, he's like, so how's things going with the studio? Colleague kind of question. And I said, what the coolest part is, Adrian? I go, right now, I'm working. And we're out there catching snook out there in the river, and I said, it's technically it's work. It doesn't feel like it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But then I come back and I paint, and we get involved with the event, and it's pretty cool that's.
How do I get this painting on my wall, by the way? Because I really want that to go home.
I think
it's gotta go to my office.
You might have to talk to Gregor about that. I think he's got his eye on it too. So maybe you guys can work something out.
Yeah. No, it's this is just great industry, great people. We had, as an example, so an individual who is in charge of our product management was here yesterday with his sons. So these are two young boys. I think Kai is around 10. I think Caleb is 12.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, in the last 8 to 10 weeks, they've just gotten into this fishing thing.
Okay.
And so they're sitting here yesterday, and they're still learning, trying to get it all figured out. And you got Blair Wiggins out there, hooking up line for them. It's just, Bouncer was talking to him about, how to cast and things of that nature. I'm like, these guys have no idea who they're getting to interact with, right? As they're just starting this, fishing legacy for themselves. It's really pretty cool.
Yeah, it totally is. And that is such a great time in your life when you really it's all new.
Yeah.
And it's all magic and wonderful.
Yes.
Because, a lot of the guys over time can just get jaded about, and spoiled, quite frankly, about what they've been able to do all their lives. But when you're young and you're so impressionable, and just to be in that moment, it's such a priceless thing. So, John, thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Thank you, my man.
PartsVU,
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you very much for supporting all this, and thank you so much for being 100%. An awesome company. So,
thank you very much for your time.
It.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks. You too.